Welcome to Kaywon Action Star. It's great to have you back here, so let's get right to it.
I am Mike Marshall with the CIA.
Take the suspect!
Give me an update of the site capture.
The movie kicks off with an intense standoff at a harbor, where CIA agents and elite American special forces engage in a heated gunfight. Their mission: track down and seize a shipment of illegal weapons and explosives intended for a devastating attack on Washington, D.C. Leading the charge is Jenny, a tough-as-nails CIA agent who never backs down from a fight. After an all-out battle, the team gains the upper hand, successfully subduing the terrorists. But when they crack open the container that was supposed to be filled with weapons, it's completely empty. Confused and frustrated, Jenny grabs one of the captured terrorists for questioning, but he insists he has no idea what she's talking about. Meanwhile, across town, a convoy of cars speeds toward the airport. Inside one of them, CIA Chief Mike sits face-to-face with Nisa, the wife of a captured terrorist named Amin. Amin, a British citizen with Middle Eastern roots, has already been taken into custody. Mike pushes Nisa to convince her husband to reveal where the smuggled weapons are hidden, but she's overwhelmed and in shock. At the airport, security is tight as they prepare for Amin's arrival. Jenny, still reeling from the failed operation, meets up with Mike, who assigns her an unexpected task: sticking close to Nisa. Used to being on the front lines, Jenny is thrown off by this seemingly simple duty but doesn't argue. Moments later, Amin lands, escorted by Jake, a top-tier Special Forces operative known for his sharp instincts and lethal combat skills. Jake has already taken down several terrorists before getting Amin safely to the airport. As soon as Amin steps off the plane, he spots Nisa. Guilt-ridden, he walks toward her, looking like he wants to say something. But before he can, Nisa, her face twisted with anger and heartbreak, lashes out. She tells him their family is shattered and drops a bombshell: she's 4 months pregnant. Despite her desperate pleas for him to reveal the location of the explosives, Amin stays tight-lipped, fueled by a deep desire for revenge rooted in a tragic past. Years ago, Amin was just an ordinary Iraqi man living in England, but his life was torn apart when his family was falsely accused of terrorism. American forces stormed his brother's wedding in Washington, D.C., killing his young son. From that day, Amin swore he'd make them pay, and now, he's dangerously close to fulfilling that promise. Meanwhile, Jake takes a moment to check in with his wife through a video call, reassuring her that he's safe. But his gut tells him something is off. Spotting a few shady figures lurking nearby, he immediately cuts the call and follows them. That's when he realizes they're mercenaries, and they're here for Amin. Wasting no time, Jake launches a surprise attack, but he's outnumbered. Knowing he can't take them all on, he makes a split-second decision to grab Amin and Nisa and get them the hell out of there. Chaos erupts as the mercenaries go after them, taking out several CIA agents in the process. With the airport's communication networks hijacked, Jake is completely cut off from his team. He has no idea who's backing these mercenaries, but one thing is clear: they're highly trained and won't stop until they get what they came for. The chase is relentless. The mercenaries tail Jake's car, eventually forcing him into a dead end. With nowhere else to go, Jake decides their best shot is heading back to the airport. As they speed towards safety, Amin turns to Jake, his voice tense: "Are they after you or me?" Jake doesn't hesitate. "It's you they want," he replies. Knowing time is running out, they come up with a desperate plan. Jake will take down as many mercenaries as possible while Amin does whatever it takes to keep Nisa safe. Just as expected, the mercenaries close in. One of them spots Amin and Nisa, ready to take them captive, but before he can, Jake appears out of nowhere and takes him out. That's when it dawns on Jake: the mercenaries don't want Amin dead. They need him alive, likely because he's the only one who knows where the explosives are hidden. Realizing this, Jake pushes Amin to give up the location, but Amin refuses, knowing that once he does, Jake might not protect him anymore. Instead, Amin makes a deal: he'll talk, but only if Jake guarantees their safe escape. With no other choice, Jake agrees and quickly straps bulletproof vests onto Amin and Nisa before leading them upstairs. Elsewhere in the airport, mercenary leader Jackson is busy coordinating with his top men, Dunbar and Ward. Jackson is clear about their objective: capture Amin alive before midnight. He needs Amin to locate the bomb and record a public statement. Meanwhile, his team hacks into the airport security feeds, quickly pinpointing Jake's location as he leads Amin and Nisa to the 5th floor. Jackson wastes no time, ordering Dunbar and Ward to move in. Meanwhile, Jake pushes forward, knowing that CIA Chief Mike and his team are waiting for them on the 7th floor. But getting there won't be easy, the mercenaries have caught up again. A brutal fight breaks out. Jake, relentless and precise, takes down every enemy in his path. After an intense struggle, he finally manages to get Amin and Nisa to the 7th floor, where Mike is waiting. Out of breath and still on high alert, Jake turns to Mike, ready to brief him. But before he can say a word, Mike hits him with a serious question: what do these guys really want? Jake doesn't have all the answers, but he has a hunch: they need Amin alive. Sitting Amin down for a chat, he presses him to reveal where the bomb is hidden. In return, Jake promises him protection and legal immunity. Amin hesitates, saying he needs time to think. Meanwhile, Nisa, who has medical training, patches up Jenny's wounds before turning to Amin, begging him to reveal the bomb's location before the mercenaries get to it. Jenny, still recovering, asks Jake if Amin has said anything useful. Jake explains their deal: Amin will only talk once they're safe. To prove they're dealing with professionals, Jake shows Jenny a phone he took from the mercenaries. The group, known as Team Fade from Virginia, is after Amin, but their leader's identity is still a mystery. While this unfolds, Mike plays a voice recording on his laptop. Amin is shocked. The voice belongs to the woman who convinced him to bomb Washington, D.C. Listening carefully, he realizes it sounds exactly like Jenny. Mike wastes no time. He pulls his gun on Jenny, demanding she confess to orchestrating everything. Jenny denies it, arguing that plenty of people could have similar voices. But before they can get further, Jackson's men launch another attack, triggering a brutal shootout. Amid the chaos, Amin tries to escape with Nisa, but he is captured while she manages to get away. Seeing Amin being taken, Jake rushes to intervene but ends up in a fierce battle with Dunbar. Exhausted from previous fights, Jake is ultimately overpowered. Meanwhile, Ward captures Mike and Jenny, then executes Mike, confirming his suspicions. Jenny was the mastermind behind everything. She had hired Jackson's crew to capture Amin, planning to steal the bomb for herself. However, Jenny still doesn't know where Amin has hidden the bomb, so she needs him alive. She orders her men to torture Amin for information, but he refuses to talk. Frustrated, Jenny decides to use a different approach. She sends her goons after Nisa, thinking that threatening her will make Amin crack. Her henchmen quickly spread out, hunting for Nisa. At the same time, Jake, having recovered, takes down one of Jenny's men who is searching for her. Soon after, he encounters another mercenary who has already captured Nisa. A fight breaks out, but Jake manages to win. To stay undercover, he puts on the fallen mercenary's uniform and pretends he is escorting Nisa as a prisoner. This allows him to get inside without suspicion. Jenny, still unaware of Jake's disguise, turns back to Amin, demanding he give up the bomb's location. Out of options, Amin finally reveals that it is hidden in container number 90. Jenny immediately sends word to Jackson to secure it. With her plan moving forward, she forces Amin to record a ransom video, threatening to detonate the bomb unless the American government pays $500 million. Initially, Amin refuses, but Jenny threatens Nisa's life, leaving him no choice but to read the script she hands him. Once the video is recorded, Jenny shoots Amin and leaves with Jackson for the airstrip, intending to take the bomb and the ransom money for herself. Jake, still in disguise, is shocked by Jenny's betrayal. Once she leaves, he springs into action, taking out the remaining mercenaries and freeing Nisa. He tells her to stay hidden while he stops Jenny and Jackson. At first, his disguise helps him blend in, but Dunbar eventually figures out who he is. This leads to an intense fight on a moving train. Knowing he is outmatched, Jake lures Dunbar and his men to an abandoned warehouse, where he takes them down one by one. With Jackson's men out of the way, Jake moves in on Jenny. Meanwhile, Jackson has loaded the bomb onto a plane, preparing to leave Washington, D.C. Jenny is supposed to join him, believing her mission is complete. However, just as she restores the network she had hijacked to make a final call, Jake arrives at the scene. Realizing the signal is back, he quickly contacts the FBI for backup. One of Jackson's men spots him, but Jake swiftly eliminates him before taking on the rest of Jackson's crew. After clearing out the mercenaries, Jake finally confronts Jackson. The two engage in a fierce fight, but in the end, Jake manages to handcuff Jackson instead of killing him, determined to see him face justice. Inside the plane, Jenny realizes she has lost. But instead of begging for mercy, she smirks and warns Jake that this is only the beginning. Her team has a much bigger plan in motion. Moments later, the FBI arrives and arrests her. Before leaving, Jake grabs Jenny's phone and deletes the video Amin had been forced to record, ensuring it won't spread. With that, the chaos finally comes to an end. The moral of the story: if you're planning a massive scheme, make sure your voice isn't as easy to recognize as your sloppy execution, otherwise, you might just find yourself tangled up in your own disaster. And that wraps it up for this recap. Thank you for watching. Do well to give this video a thumbs up, and put down your comments down below to let me know what you think about the turn of events in this storyline. Share too for others to enjoy. And see you on my next video. Cheers.